Hello there and welcome to my YouTube channel, Juliet McNeill Crafts. So today we are playing with Samantha K stuff again. I love her stuff so much and I have been itching to get my hands on this. I just think it's adorable and I think it's going to go so well with my Toadstool tots. So I was delighted when this arrived through the door. Very excited. So as you might have noticed, normally my Samantha K videos went up on Monday at 11 o'clock, but actually in response to you crafters having it in an evening where you can join me in your craft room and play along, it seemed to be a better option. So now we are going to go with Thursdays at 6 o'clock. So again, fortnightly, Thursdays at 6 o'clock. So again, I'm just putting some gesso on this piece, just to give myself a white base, because I prefer working from a white base because I believe it makes my colours a bit truer when I am painting them and stuff like that. And I'm trying not to go too heavy because this particular MDF has sort of lines etched into it, which add to the detail, and I don't overly want to lose them, so I'm trying to just go a little bit canny and not have too much. So I'm just going to continue to gesso this and I'll be back when it's all dry and ready to paint up. Okay, so I'm back to do some painting, and I am going to start off with my Dilutions paint. So I am going to give this a pink undertone. Like, if you follow me, you know that I like to do lots of layers with everything, but with my paint effects I do like to still have the various tones. I like to have a highlight, a mid-tone and a shadow. And I do think that helps to make the piece that you're making look less flat. I sometimes find with 3D projects, I know for myself, it's because I did it myself, that's why I keep saying that sometimes we paint it like that because we're thinking, oh, that's it painted, that's the colour of it, and it maybe just doesn't look as good as maybe when we colour something in and we're concentrating a bit more on our shading and shadow and stuff like that. So it's a lesson I've had to teach myself, and it is something that I do sort of mention in every video, so I'm sorry if you're a bit sick of it, but that's me kind of use both my pink and my red and bringing them together, and then that will be my highlight and my mid-tone, and then I'll come in and do some extra shading with like distress inks with a black or something, and then that will give me my shadow colours. So what I'm going to do is pop you on fast forward as I paint the rest of this up. So that has had its first coat, and I've roughly sort of coloured it up, but I've lost some of the details that I mentioned that were etched into the project. So I'm just hearing my daughter barking away, poor thing. She's off school today, she's not feeling well. So I just want to bring those back in a little bit. So I'm just going to paint the details back in. So I'm just following the lines that Sam has given us. I'll probably neaten this up an awful lot more with some pen work a bit later, but just so that we've got something in. I thought I'd got a finer brush, but I think I'm going to get a finer brush again. Let's see if we've got a finer brush now, see if that makes life a bit easier. So again, I am just finding the details that Sam has given us and just putting those back in. I'm probably going to do like multiple shading on this as well, and I'm trying to, what I did there, you would have seen it on fast forward, is I'm also trying to keep my brush strokes going in the direction that that the actual thing would be. So it's like the grass is, the brush strokes are going up and the mushroom they're coming round. So I'm trying to keep that in mind because it's probably easier to paint across like that and follow the lines, but that wouldn't be how the shadowing and the shading would go on this. It would be up and down. So I'm trying to keep my strokes up and down as I fill in these pieces. So for example, I've got this here, which I will put in sideways like this, just so I can see the outline for myself. But I will fill that in by making sure that I'm flicking up so that it looks right. So we'll do that, and then again I probably will take a bit of the brown and just shade the bottom parts in so that we still have that multi-tonal effect. So I've just got a little bit, I'm just using the tiny bits of paint that are still on my paper that's underneath, and the paper that's underneath won't go to waste. It'll end up in a journal or something. I never waste anything, me. I'm terrible. I'm terrible. I save every last little bit. I'm a paper hoarder. Okay, so we've got another bit there, which we'll just get in, and as I said, that's the detail that Sam's put in for us, so that's where we would expect the lighting and everything to be. And as I said, at the minute it looks a bit ropey, but we'll keep adding different elements to it until it looks right. Let's get a bit of the darker shading in there as well. So I'm going to do the same now with the door, and I'm also going to make the window frame stand out a bit. I'm actually going to give that a bit of colour. So what I will do again is just pop you on fast forward now that I've explained that I'm sort of adding detail, and I'm going in the areas that Sam has actually got a little burn mark there for us. So I'm sort of following what the artist has intended. So I'll just pop you on fast forward again as I do that. Okay, so that is it dry. I've left that overnight to dry, and I'm going to come in now and add even more shading. So I've got my walnut stain. I may go up to black soot, we'll just see, and I'm just going to add a bit more dimension into the shadow area. So as I was saying earlier, I've kind of created my mid-tone and my highlight with the paint, and now by going in and darkening up the shadow areas, I am creating the shadow. So I'm just going to do this, and then we will add some details with a gel pen. So again, all of this just adds to the overall look of it. It's amazing the difference just a little bit of shading can make to a project. You don't have to worry too much about light source and stuff like that. If you have a little bit of an understanding on it, and in colouring and things, a bit of understanding on light source is fantastic. But in this sort of things, as long as you've got varying colours, I think you can get away with it. Now obviously this part of the house is under that mushroom, which is why I've gone darker. That's even though the sun's maybe coming from this direction, it's covered by this mushroom, so hence why that is still in shadow. So I'm just going in with some black soot into some of these areas just to build that up. So yeah, I think that's me. Running out of waffle. So there we go. I'll pop that down there, and hopefully you can see that that has made a little bit of a difference. Now I'm going to add some detail. I absolutely adore these pens. If you're on my channel as opposed to Sam's, I will pop a link down to Arteza, because these are absolutely amazing pens. I adore them. I will do a proper review on them, and I do have an affiliate link, but they work so well on everything, to be honest. So I'm just going to doodle in some effects onto the leaves. I'm going to add some veins to the leaves. So this is where I'm going to add my detail. And it's great. These come in so many different colours, and I found they go over paint absolutely fine. You do need to just make sure it's dry, which is why I left this overnight, because the only time that I have struggled with these pens has been when the paint's been slightly wet. And obviously it's not quite designed for that. Let's have some grasses coming up onto the house. You can see that's kind of covering that absolutely perfectly. Right, I'm going to add some details to the wings. So this is where we're going to get the details. So those parts that Sam had carved in, this is where I can sort of bring that out properly and create a little bit of texture on the birds there, so we can create the feathered texture just by adding a few little strokes. I'll do the same on this side with this one, and then we've got a brown pen as well, so I can do the same with the little cockerel at the back there. So I'm sort of just drawing scribbles really in the direction that the feathers would be, and that's what will give it the natural look. So I'm kind of going, like I'm curving this way as it goes round the belly, and I'm curving out at the top of the tail. Okay, let's do some details onto the butterfly a little bit, and maybe add some little polka dots in there. Paint obviously there was a bit thicker, so I am struggling there, but that is down to the paint being thicker and so probably not quite dry, because you can see on the thinner bits that's colouring in absolutely fine. Okay, and I'll maybe get a red pen here just to add some highlights. Okay, so I'm now going to take one of the black ones and give these birdies eyes. So that'll make a whole heap of difference once we have some eyes in there and they suddenly come to life. Okay, and I will go over their beaks as well, and then oh, they're so cute, so cute. Okay, actually I'm going to use the black and go down the body of this butterfly as well, because the body tends to be black really, doesn't it? So let's just go down the body of this. As I said, these pens work absolutely beautifully on lots of projects, and I've enjoyed using them like over my Copic colouring to add detail to outfits and things like that. So when I do my review I'll show you the different things that I have done with them. Now, white pen. So let's put a little dot of white in each of those eyeballs, because that will make a difference. It suddenly will come to life even more. Okay, and then what I tend to do is just draw a little white line in the darkest areas of the shading, and again that's because dark colours recede to the background, which pushes the lighter colours forward. I'm also just going to edge the bits that Sam has etched into the project, because you know they're there for a reason, and that is where the light would hit it. So I'm just going to bring those out by using my white pen. So yeah, because the dark recedes in it, it brings the light to the front. By drawing a little white line on the dark areas, you're making those dark areas look darker by the fact that it's got the contrast of the white. So I'm just going to go around these various elements and bring that to life, and this is where we'll maybe get a bit more detail in. So I've put a little bit on, I've put a base on with the green pen. So for this I'm using a white Signaball pen. Okay, I'm just adding those details in. Just a little bit of doodling. I'm not thinking about it overly, and again I'm not thinking about light source or anything. I'm just adding a little bit, and it's amazing the difference that can make. Let's do some scribbles as well, so that we've got the effect of the grass, like so. Okay, now I'm just going to start off with the black pen, I think, and we'll just emphasise the edge of the door. So I'm basically just drawing in the groove there that Sam cut for us. Now there wasn't a groove round the window, but I just wanted there to be a blue window frame. So I'm just sort of going round with my black pen, and then just inside where I've put the black pen, I am going to then add the white as the contrast. So I've got that. So that is all of that ready to go. So I am going to do, I know you've seen me do it before a few times now, but I'm absolutely loving the technique, so I'm going to do it again. So I'm just going to grab some of my paper clay. I've got the Hearty Soft stuff here, and I'm just going to work it a little bit. Oops, obviously got some colour on my hands. Okay, and then I'm literally just going to grab a ball of it and pop it through and spread it out. Actually my hand must have been quite dirty there. Okay, the fact I had Distress inks, walnut stain and black soot on my hands was not helping my case there overly. So I'm just now going to pop the paper clay behind this. It's still not overly clean, but I will get it with some coloured Distress ink later. So I'm just literally popping the paper clay through, and then I'll take the excess off like so. These are slightly bigger holes, so I am just needing to make sure that we have enough excess at the back to stick that down. And we can shape it, it's still mouldable at this stage, so if I've made it look really funny at the front, which I think I will have with this one, that's okay. We can still sort that. Okay. I'm just poking all of this through, and as I said, then I will leave this to dry. This has become my new favourite technique, so I'm sorry if you're sick of seeing it, but it's so effective. I suppose this is what mixed media is about, isn't it? It's about mixing the various products that you have, and your MDF, it's just a base. It's like, you know, your card blanks or your journal page. It's a base for you to play on and use all the techniques, and all the techniques that you maybe are used to doing in your journals or you know, your card making or anything like that. They can apply here as well. So it's like transfer your skills, whatever skills you have, just you can transfer them into something else. You don't have to stick yourself into one particular genre and think that's you. And that is the joy of mixed media. Oops, right. So I've got all that down like so. You shouldn't need glue. This will just sort of, as it dries, it'll stick. And the advantage of paper clay is it is just that, it's paper. So all the mediums and things that you can use on paper, you can use on paper clay. I'm just kind of squishing these down so that they're a shape that I like. And then once that's dried, because this one is a bit marked, I will just go around the edges of that with some like pink Distress ink or something, and we'll just disguise that slightly. So I'm going to leave that to dry, and then I think we're almost done. I'm just going to add some of my girls to finish this little wonderland or little forest scene. You can just imagine it as like a little toadstool house at the bottom of the Folk in the Faraway Tree or something like that. Okay, so I'll be back in a mo. Okay, so that's my paper clay all dry. I did sort of mark the paper bits a little bit with the fact I'd had walnut stain and distress ink on my hands. So I'm just going to create a bit of shadowing with some pink just to sort of disguise that a bit. And I think I'm just sort of kind of going into the under areas of the bulbous parts, because that's where the shading would be. And yeah, I've covered over some of it a little bit, but that's okay. Okay, so I'm just sort of, actually I'm going to bring a bit of the pink down over the orange as well, because that'll blend those two colours together a little bit as well. Okay, so that's that part done, and then what I have done is I have pulled out a whole load of my, so these are from my range, these are the Toadstool Tots. It's a digital collection, and the main feature is these gorgeous mushroom girls. There's 4 of them in total, but I've got 2 of them coloured up here. We also have some little garden snails, and I've got some flowers and toadstools and everything. So I've got a whole load that I had already coloured up, sort of ready for a future project, and I thought that they would just go perfectly with this MDF house. So I'm just going to build up with the elements that we have here, so, and create a little scene. So here I've got some scrap. This is me working on Dawn and Julia Create at the same time, so I'm sort of recording 2 videos simultaneously, and while one part's drying I'm working on the other part. But I'm just going to use some of the scrap snip art thing as instead of 3D foam, because I think it's a great way of reducing wastage, and also the 3D foam bothers me a little bit in that it's got the plastic backings, so trying to use packaging and things like that instead I think is a good thing. So yeah, so I'm just going to do that so I can build a bit of dimension. I'll stick some glue on, and I think just having her at the side of the house there is quite cute. So I'm going to put some to the front, and then maybe have some sort of poking out from the back as well. So I like this little snail. I think it's really cute. So I'm just imagining a sort of like little down the bottom of the garden. Actually, I'm sort of, I don't know why, every time with this collection that I have it out and playing, I'm thinking the folk in the faraway tree. I kind of almost want to draw a big tree, so that we can play with that idea a little bit. Because I can just imagine this little toadstool house at the bottom of the faraway tree. I don't know, it seems very enchanted forest. I absolutely love this. I did buy a second one as well, so I'm sure I'll be doing another project with it, but I can see me buying more. I can see me keeping Sam busy cutting these little mushroom houses out, because I just think they're amazing. She has some other ones I want to play with as well. She's got a fabulous like dollhouse looking one, which I would just love to actually decorate up and decorate all the rooms and all of that. I think that would be a really fun project, so I think I will do that one day. Right, so at the minute I'm just going to go with my foreground images. I'm thinking that I might actually just pop her behind like that, like she's coming to visit. So maybe we should just, I'll do that now so that I'm getting my layout. So to do that, what I'm going to do is just pop some glue on the back here, because that's what she will be sticking to, and then just have her sort of like she's round the corner and coming to visit. Coming to the tea party with a little balloon in her hand. Okay, so we've got her there. Right, let's have a play. I do love these mushrooms. It's terrible, like, even if I say so myself, I do love these mushrooms. Sometimes I feel like I'm like, you know, blowing my own trumpet. But I suppose it's good to like your designs. It's better to like them than to not like them, I suppose. But I have to say this, I think this is my favourite collection so far. Absolutely love it. Sorry, I'll just move myself so I'm actually in the screen as I'm doing this. So yeah, just using the remnants of this snip art again for a bit of a dimension. And we'll stick that down like so. This has been a fun project. I absolutely adore this. Adore it. I've got to thank Sam, just really does do the most amazing MDF. Lots of quirky things. I've had a big parcel of hers arrive because I've ordered a load of stuff for the Crafternoon tea that I am hosting. So if you're in Inverness or fancy a journey to Inverness, I'm hosting a Crafternoon tea. I think is it in a fortnight or next week? Who knows? It's the 20th and the 21st. I don't know where I am in the stream of time right now. Well and truly lost, I think. Right, do I want a second one? Let me see. Or do I just want some flowers? I like the... I don't know if that's just taking up too much of the... Oh yeah, we could have her peeking out the background there. Okay, let's do that. And then I'm also thinking what I might do is just grab some acetate and let's have some of the flowers sort of springing out from behind. So let's see, where should we put her? Just about there, so that she's coming off the edge. Okay, I'm just going to grab a little bit of acetate. Okay, so I've already made one, but I'll do one on camera. So I've cut a long strip of acetate and taped it to a flower. So all I've done is I've cut into my flower petals slightly, just so that I can shape them a little bit, which will give them a little bit more dimension. So it just kind of gives that extra element. And then what I've done is I've taken some red liner tape, just because it's really strong. I'm not actually going to peel the backing off, but I just know that it's going to stick really well. And with a wet glue I would have to leave it ages to dry, and I can't be bothered. So tape will do. So I'm thinking that if we have some sort of like flowers poking, sort of wibbly wobblying out the back. So I've deliberately made the acetate quite long so that I can have a fiddle with what I would quite like to do here. Yeah, I think that's quite good. So I'll turn that round. I should have had a bit of, oh, I've got a tiny bit of tape here actually, so I can stick that there for just now. But what I'll do is let's turn that round and I'll get some tape and we'll just stick that down and neaten it up on the back here. So I think I had it roughly in the right place. So we'll do that. Okay. And then I've got another bit here. And we'll just stick those bits down. And once I've made sure they're secure, I'm just going to chop them down. And I might just tuck a bit of wet glue under there as well, just so that it does stick, but we've got the tapes to sort of temporarily hold it in place whilst that is attaching. And then hopefully that should mean that we've got some flowers. I'm just going to tuck that the other way around. Yeah, that we've got some flowers sort of just dangling off the project, which I think looks really good. Okay, so now let's shape a few more and put some down here. Not sure if I want a flower up there as well. Let's see. No. Okay, I'm just going to, let's do the same with these flowers then, and then get them stuck down, and I think we're probably good to go. I might find something to create a bit of texture in the grass area, and I might just do a bit of detailing on the window with a silver pen, just to yeah, just to give that a bit of a more realistic look. but I'm absolutely loving it so far. I think it's looking quite good, even if I say so myself. Right, so let's get these down. Okay, so I'm just arranging them in like little clusters. I've also got some little butterflies here, but I don't know whether they're too... Oh, I know, I've got some in my bit box that might work better. Okay, so I've got this little butterfly, which I think will go quite nicely just up here, maybe. Don't know quite how that's going to stick on. That looks alright, doesn't it? Right, and then I'm thinking that actually we could extend this a bit further if we just... So I'm going to sort of partially cover that with glue there and then stick that behind our little girl there so that she's sort of between the mushrooms, and then I'm going to do the same at this side over here as well, so that we've extended the project even further. It means we've got lots of layers, things behind each other, different things like that, and it just adds lots of extra interest. So I'm just going to do that like so. I don't know that I want to put extra texture on for the grass. I think there's quite a lot going on already. I'm just going to get my silver pen, and I just want to highlight the edge of these windows with silver, and just so that it's got a slightly, sorry my head's in shot there, just so that it's got a slightly more metallic feel. And I'm going to do the edge of the door as well, and let's maybe make some almost like wood grains as well. Just don't know what to do about the grass. I don't know, should we have a bit of glitter or something? Decisions. Okay, so I have this watermelon napkin, and I am thinking that if I just take the green parts off and scrunch these up, that could give us a bit of interesting sort of texture. Let's tear it so that it's rough, and then I'm thinking if we just popped bits and pieces of it down, that would work. Who knows? Let's try. I'm just going to stick a bit of it down and then sort of roughly, yeah. It was needing something, but when I was putting my faux grass on, which I tried off camera, it just wasn't suiting the project, but I still felt I wanted something on. So yeah, that's created, yeah, I like that, I'm happy. That's created a little bit of texture there. So nothing too fancy, but it just all adds to the overall look of it. Actually, let's get some of the darker stuff in, because this will be a shadow area. So I'm just going to again put a bit of glue down and then just scrunch some of that tissue and then give it a wee tear, and yeah, I'm happy. That has been a bit of a solution that I was looking for. So I'm pretty pleased with how this has turned out so far. So I will just finish doing this, and then I will clear up my desk so that you can see it properly, and I hope you have enjoyed it here. So if you have enjoyed it here, please do think about liking and subscribing. If you find me on Sam's channel, feel free to pop over and check out some of my other videos, and if you found me on my channel, why not check Sam's, because she does make the most amazing MDF, and she has some fabulous tutorials and projects she shares over there, so I'm sure that you would absolutely love it. So I'm just going to turn the camera off now and then clear my desk so that we can get a better look at how this project is looking. Okay, so this is this all completed. Absolutely thrilled with how that has turned out. Yeah, it's just like a little magical fantasy land. Absolutely love it. So thank you to Sam for providing the MDF. All the details of where you can get everything will be in the description box below, and I hope you like it. Okay, take care. Thanks for spending your time with me today, and I'll see you again very soon. Bye.